So, have you ever considered why some new food trends just, take off while others seem to stall? Even the ones with really good intentions, like sustainability.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It's fascinating. You look at plant-based meats and dairy, they've really exploded, haven't they?
Exactly. But then you get to plant based eggs, and it feels like, well, like they haven't quite cracked into the mainstream the same way. Why is that?
It's a good question.
And what if the real secret to getting them, say, into your kitchen isn't about perfectly mimicking a scrambled egg, but maybe something else entirely?
Mm.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into some really fascinating new research. It unpacks exactly these things: consumer perceptions, choices around plant based eggs.
Sounds good.
Our mission really is to understand the real influences. Why would someone choose a vegan egg? What truly makes people take that leap? And maybe what's the best way to get them more widely adopted?
Yeah, and it's interesting because this specific area, plant-based eggs, it hasn't actually received as much research attention as, say, plant-based meats.
Right. Despite all the interest in sustainable protein.
Exactly. So this new study by Dat-Yoon Kim at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign and Brenna Ellison, now at Purdue University, it's particularly insightful.
Okay.
It's really one of the first proper in-depth investigations into why people adopt or don't adopt plant-based eggs. And they use this very clever technique. It's called a vignette design.
A vignette design. Okay, that sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
Can you break that down? How did it work, and why use that instead of just, asking people directly?
Well, that's the key point. Instead of just asking, hey, would you buy this plant-based egg? Which, let's be honest, can lead to people giving the answer they think you want to hear.
Right, the socially desirable answer.
Exactly. They created these little hypothetical scenarios. So participants had to imagine they were about to eat breakfast, maybe at home, maybe in a restaurant.
Okay.
And then they got a choice. You can have scrambled eggs or you can have pancakes. But the pancakes are made with plant-based eggs.
Ah, I see. So it's more about observing a choice in a realistic kind of context.
Precisely. It helps reveal those underlying preferences without directly asking about purchase intent, which can be a bit flawed.
It makes sense. So, what did these scenarios reveal? Were there any big surprises in the results?
Well, yeah, there were a few. For one thing, the eating location, remember, home versus restaurant.
Yeah.
It didn't really significantly affect whether people were likely to purchase the plant-based option.
Huh. Really? Because the researchers thought it might, didn't they? Like maybe people would be more adventurous eating out?
They did. That was the initial hypothesis.
Yeah.
Maybe the novelty factor, having a chef prepare it,
Yeah.
would make a difference in a restaurant. But nope, the data just didn't support that.
Wow. Okay. That is unexpected. So, if the setting didn't matter as much, what did? What was a really standout finding here?
The absolute key finding, and this is where it gets really interesting, was that people were significantly more likely to go for the plant-based eggs when they were mixed into something familiar.
Like the pancakes.
Exactly, like the pancakes. Much more likely than when the plant-based eggs were served on their own, like scrambled eggs.
So, familiarity with the end product, as they put it, that was the crucial thing. More important than where you ate.
That seems to be it. It points to this powerful idea that how the food is presented, especially within a familiar context, might be much more important than the environment itself.
That's a huge insight. It's not where you eat it, but what you eat it in. Okay, but why? What else did the research find about the reasons behind these choices? Was it all about taste?
Well, they did look beyond just purchase likelihood. They asked participants to compare plant-based eggs to traditional ones on different features.
Yeah.
And as you might kind of expect, classic eggs still won out when it came to things like expected taste and appearance. No huge surprise there.
Okay.
However, and this is important, the plant-based versions consistently scored higher on environmental impact and animal welfare.
Ah, so the ethical angle is definitely playing a role.
It really highlights that broader trend, doesn't it? Ethical motivations are increasingly part of the food choice equation, even if taste and appearance are still, major drivers.
Right. So you've got this familiarity factor, you've got ethical drivers. Does this mean we're about to see everyone switching to plant-based eggs overnight? What did Dr. Ellison think?
Well, Brenna Ellison herself was pretty clear. Probably not. It's not like an instant switch is happening.
Okay, fair enough.
But, and this is an important nuance, the study did find that people who tried plant-based eggs before, they were more likely to purchase them again compared to people who hadn't.
Ah, so prior experience helps. A positive first try makes a difference.
It suggests exactly that. Even if the taste isn't identical, a positive past experience seems to lower the barrier for choosing it again.
So putting this all together, what's the practical advice for the industry then? If prior experience helps and familiarity is key,
hmm
how do you get people to have that first positive try?
Yeah, the advice that comes out of this is pretty clear for manufacturers. It's about introducing plant-based eggs as an ingredient.
Right, like in the pancakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially in a product that consumers are already comfortable and familiar with, that seems to be the way to get people over any sort of mental hurdles they might have about trying plant-based eggs.
Make it less intimidating, almost sneak it in.
Kinda,
Yeah.
yeah. It's about making that first step really easy, really non-threatening.
Yeah.
Almost a hidden introduction in a way.
That makes so much sense. I actually remember hearing Dayun Kim, one of the researchers, talking about her own experience trying the liquid kind of plant-based egg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she said she was surprised because while the taste was different, she found the texture was remarkably similar to traditional eggs.
Ah, texture. That's interesting.
And I think we often focus so much on taste, but texture can be just as big a deal, maybe even more sometimes when you're trying something unfamiliar.
Absolutely. Texture is huge. And her experience really backs up the study's findings, doesn't it? Even if there are sensory differences like taste, a positive experience maybe with a familiar texture or in a familiar dish that can be really powerful.
So it encourages people to try it again.
Exactly. So the main message for the industry really just boils down to this. Give people an easy, tasty, and crucially recognizable way to try something new.
Meeting consumers where they are.
Precisely. It seems plant-based eggs are finding their niche, maybe not as direct standalone replacements right now, but as these really versatile ingredients in dishes people already know and love.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? I think the core insight here is pretty clear. The path to getting plant-based eggs more widely adopted probably isn't through pushing a vegan scramble as a direct swap for your usual eggs.
Not primarily, no.
Instead, it's more about this seamless integration, getting them into familiar foods, making that sustainable choice an easy, almost unnoticeable swap in things we already eat and enjoy.
And maybe taking a step back, thinking bigger picture. How might this whole principle, this familiarity and introduction, apply elsewhere?
Good question. Like to other newer sustainable products we want to see adopted more widely.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often do we maybe resist something new, not because of the thing itself, but just because of how it's presented to us, or how much effort it feels like it takes to fit it into our lives?
That's a really interesting thought to mull over. How much is resistance about the change itself versus just the way it's introduced? Lots to think about there.